Hi, I'm Angelique Walker-Smith, and welcome back to Faces of Faith. Well, we've been having lots of fun here on Faces of Faith. We've been talking to all kinds of interesting people, community, faith, the intersection, advocacy, relationships. Well, today is no different. Today we get to talk to someone who is also very special in this community. Her name is Mrs. Tracy Heaton Day Martinez. Got it?
Right.
All right. And if you don't know her, you should know her too, because she is one of the, if you will, one of the major leverages that made the Super Bowl happen. Yes, she did. She's the one that did all that work behind the scenes. And if you didn't know that, you need to know it on this show. But more than that, she's a woman of faith. She's at Broadway United Methodist Church and has been working in this community for some time. Right now, she's at Keep Indianapolis Beautiful, but before that, she was at the Bonner Center and working there in the community. It really made the linkages so that all of that stuff back at the Super Bowl, where we all had so much fun, so that it would work. So we're just happy that Tracy is here. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you.
And another modest personality in our town. We seem to get all these people who don't get the kind of support and accolades. Well, you get them here on Faces of Faith, and thank you for what you did to make that happen.
Sure.
But first, who's Tracy? Who are you? Where do you come from? Say something about your faith.
Sure. So I'm a native Hoosier. I'm a native from Indianapolis.
Okay.
Even though I had a 20-year hiatus away in Illinois. Returned for my husband's job, incidentally, not mine.
Okay.
So he works here for the Presbytery and brought me home.
Okay.
Where my parents are and lots of my cousins, and so that's lovely.
Yeah.
I grew up Roman Catholic, and at age 12 had a crisis of faith, and on my own joined another church and got baptized, and my parents thought that was okay.
Oh.
And so
They thought that was okay?
They did.
Wow.
They did. And the pastor that visited with me, eventually my mom came with me.
Is that right?
Yeah. So and I don't know if that church exists anymore, but it used to be on East 38th Street, East 38th Street Christian Church. It was really important in my faith growth.
Wow.
So then as a young woman, I joined North United Methodist, and then I joined Epworth United Methodist in Chicago, where the rubber hit the road for me. So all the stuff that I learned from North, I had to actually do at Epworth. It was more inner city, more poor, more weird.
A little different, huh?
I got a glimpse of the kingdom, and it's not like I thought it was. But it's good, and it's a great potluck up there, I will say that. And that's really what equipped me, I think, to see community work as ministry. We had a homeless shelter at Epworth in our gymnasium, and we could not afford to heat both the gym and our sanctuary. So we closed our sanctuary and we shoehorned ourselves into the chapel for worship. And I learned that risk and that walk. But we were illegal. We weren't a sanctioned Chicago shelter. And when Mayor Daley wanted to do a symposium on churches and homelessness, they did it at Epworth. And I did the welcome to the mayor, and I was convinced we were all going to be arrested. And my knees were shaking as I'm welcoming Mayor Daley, of all people.
Well, how did he happen to pick you in the first place?
I don't know. We were pretty. It looked good on camera.
Okay, all right. That helps.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. So we did that, and it was really powerful for me. And eventually we did open up the sanctuary again and repaired it, and the church grew, and it's a really great place. So then I returned eventually to Indianapolis, and now I'm a Broadway United Methodist.
Right. But you're more than that. I mean, you've taken that opportunity, that experience, and you've, in a way, recreated it here in Indianapolis, haven't you?
Right. So in that intervening 20-some years where I was away, part of that was when my husband served a small-town church in St. Anne, Illinois.
Right.
And I learned a lot. It's really hard to get good Thai food in a small town. But other than that, it was a really powerful experience. And we thought we were going to come in and change this church. In fact, we were the ones changed. And it was more powerful for us. I don't know that we even left a footprint there. But coming back here, we wanted to recreate that small town experience. We're now raising our grandchildren, and we wanted them to have all those aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas like our kids had in St. Anne. And I feel we really have. There isn't a community event on the Near East Side that I don't lose my kids at, because they know everyone, and they think it's easy.
Right.
And they just take off, and they're running around and playing with people and knowing people. Unfortunately, they think that translates everywhere. So when in a museum in Washington, D.C., and I turn and they're gone, because they thought, well, we'll know someone eventually.
Right.
No, not there.
Right. It's a little different place.
It's a little different. So we had to explain we don't know everyone everywhere. But they feel safe, and they feel like they have a community of people they know and love.
Right. So say something more about your work over on the Near East Side, what that has meant for you and what you've done there. Say a few words about that.
Sure. First and foremost, it's super fun.
Yeah.
Broadway has T-shirts that say, I am more than you see. And I would say that applies to the Near East Side very much. It doesn't look great, maybe, to some people. But there is wisdom in the folks that have remained there.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be a really great part of town.
Yeah.
And then it had some challenges. But a lot of folks stuck through that.
Yeah.
And so with the Super Bowl legacy, we wanted those who stuck around during the worst of times to benefit now in the best of times. And listen to their wisdom, listen to their vision. And I think it really happened that way. You know, we didn't become a suburb. We are still the East Side, and all that good and bad, quirky and fun. And, so it's a real blessing to get to work with Near East Siders. It really is. It's not easy. I won't say that, but listening to folks is really powerful.
And say something more about your role in all of that. What has been your experience of leadership there?
Sure. So I started out as a community organizer for the Near East Side Community Organization.
Now, what does community organizing mean for you?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different definition for community organizing.
Yes.
What did that mean for you?
So I was a community organizer in Chicago, where organizing is a full-body contact sport in Chicago.
Yes, sure.
It's a little more confrontational.
Yes.
And I'm not used to that, so that was a big stretch for me.
Okay.
And I come back to Indy, and I'm kind of in that Chicago mode,
Right.
ready to beat people up or something.
Right.
Okay, well, we don't do that way here. It's
Right.
more asset-based.
Right.
So I had to kind of learn from the folk here what it meant. So community organizing to me means sort of coalescing the voice of the people.
Right.
They know what's right. They know what they need. Maybe corporate and city leaders aren't ready to hear that sometimes. So we sort of funnel that so they can hear it.
Yes. Sure.
Either nicely or
Sure.
strongly.
Right.
Or loudly.
Right.
And the more they hear it, the less loud we need to be, I find. So it's not organizing in the sense of organizing your closet.
Right. Right.
The East Side doesn't look organized,
Right.
but it really is. And I think evidence of that was when my neighborhood on the very eastern end of Nesco was fighting to close a strip club. And we had neighbors from all parts of the Near East Side there because they understood what helped Little Flower would help the other end of Nesco.
Sure.
And at the hearing, they kept moving us down the agenda, hoping we might leave, because we had 40 people in this tiny little conference room at the City County building, where it was 80 degrees, and I think I lost 15 pounds. So that's not all bad. But these folks stuck it out to testify against this bar, and we won, and it's gone.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And it helped the community.
Yeah,
That's what they wanted.
It did.
Yeah.
So
where are you now? You're at Keep Indianapolis Beautiful.
Yes.
How did you make that transition? How did that come about?
well, the Super Bowl host committee offices closed in March of 2013, 2012. I don't even know how long ago that was.
Recently.
Recently. All the operations closed in March.
Sure.
And I took the summer off to job hunt and sit on my porch and have lunch with friends.
Oh, how fun is that?
It was great.
Yeah.
And opportunity popped up for some part-time work at Keep Indianapolis Beautiful,
Okay.
which does a tremendous job of community engagement. They don't just blow in and plant random trees and random green spaces.
Right.
They work with the neighbors and their vision. So every green space is a little different. Every garden is a little different.
Yeah.
Trees are trees, but
Right.
we do it with the neighbors' participation and involvement so that they care about the trees, They meet each other, and that's the most
So
powerful
it's
thing.
organizing again in a way.
It is, it is. And I think the most important thing is that KIB provides organizing tools. So what I saw as a community organizer, so I called KIB to do tree planting. They would also bring other volunteers. We might bring a corporate group. One time Starbucks came to my neighborhood to plant trees, and there were neighbors. Well, the neighbors then leave that day tired, their knees are dirty, their back hurts a little bit, and you can look up the street and 60 trees are in the ground. And the neighbors feel powerful, and they feel like, hey, we did this.
That's right.
Well, they had some help, but you kind of forget about that.
Right, it's theirs.
Yeah, and you feel like, hey, we can do something else now. And it's a great tool to have in your toolbox as an organizer.
sure.
KIB is the most accessible, successful tool for any group wanting to do some initial work. We do cleanups, we do green spaces,
Sure.
we plant
We
trees.
have benefited from your generosity with the Centennial Village. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
So we appreciate you.
It's very fun. So my job is to go out into the community, listen to neighbors, listen to their plans, kind of lay out some options.
Right.
We have really easy entrees, like our Adopt a Block program,
Yeah.
where folks, it's kind of like Crime Watch, but with flowers.
Oh,
And it's
what a
more-
beautiful way to put it.
Exactly. So if you're walking around your block picking up
Right.
trash every week, you begin
Right.
to know what should be there and maybe what shouldn't.
Right.
Who lives there and maybe who doesn't.
Right.
And getting to know your neighbors.
Well, we
looks better.
really appreciate that sharing, Tracy. I mean, it's amazing what you've been able to do. I mean, community organizing is so important to community development. So we really thank you for working with the people, hearing the people, and sharing a vision with the people. That is so biblically based. I really believe that's what Christ did. I mean, he really went around hearing people and organizing them for his cause, his
Right.
greater cause. So in a way, that's really a following of his leadership. So thank you for
Thank
being
you.
a witness, and we look forward to great things.
Thank you.
And who knows, you may see more flowers and trees out there. Thanks to
Hopefully.
Tracy. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks for being with us. Friends, thank you for joining us on Faces of Faith. We're delighted that you could join us to learn about Tracy Heaton, Day, Tracy Day Martinez. Thank you, Tracy. And thank you for joining us. Go to www.indyfaith.org, 926-5371. We hope to hear from you. God bless and thank you.